Hi guys, welcome back to Gym Girls Unfiltered. Today we are going to be talking about something that a lot of us struggle with, and I feel like it's going to hit home for some people here, but your first day in the gym and how to navigate it. But first, I want to do a little update of what all the hosts are up to. So Caroline, what are you up to?
Yeah, honestly, not up to much, not many updates. I have two more check-ins with my previous coach, and then I switch over to my new coach in October. But other than that, not much going on over here. Kate?
So I recently finally got my GI map and Dutch test results back, which I think I've talked on this podcast about a little bit. But pretty much we're just kind of changing up my food and nutrition to help get my gut healthy and hopefully hope get my hormones back to regulating correctly and producing correctly. So my food is looking a little bit different. Nothing's really changed with my training yet. We might drop me back down to 4 days a week if fatigue becomes high. But other than that, I am feeling good. It's taken a lot of getting used to, but I'm just excited to feel good and be healthy. And that's what's most important because I'm just in it for the delayed gratification, which Caroline always tells me. Alani, what about you?
I am now 2 months post show. So navigating like the end of the reverse diet, finding balance, all this stuff. I've been doing a whole lot of freaking travel, which is so good, but also just want to get back to my normal routine. So I just got back from New York for the weekend yesterday, head out to Sarasota tomorrow. So I'm in my little transitional period. Had to get a podcast episode in. But yeah, just finding balance with my eating. Training is still the same, pushing hard in the gym, building some muscle. That's pretty much what's going on with me. But does anybody have anything that they want to like start out this episode with? I know like I feel like a lot of us kind of struggled with that when we first got into the gym and being intimidated. Like, how is that for you guys?
I guess I can go first because I worked out at my home for the longest time because I was just so scared of the gym. And we had like this little office room, I guess you could say, but my dad had like this big Bowflex thing. If anyone knows what that is, it's pretty much like has one cable right here where you can do like rows, and then there's two other cables on the side, and then we had like maybe I think like 5 sets of dumbbells that went up to like 30 pounds. So that was my gym for the longest time because I was so scared of going to an actual gym. And slowly I started going with two of my guy friends. And I was still honestly scared. We go at like 5 a.m. because I was so nervous to see people. And it's not even like I worked out at a big gym. So I can't even imagine like my first interaction, like going into a huge gym. There was maybe like 5 people at a time at my gym. But I don't know, like I would just kind of go in with them, and as long as they were there, I felt okay. But I do like remember like just trying to like hide in the corner and like grab a dumbbell and like hide in the corner. But I just slowly just started getting more comfortable and just realizing that everyone is not there to stare at me. Everyone is there to work on themselves just like I am. What about y'all?
Yeah. For me, I was one of the girls that started out at Planet Fitness, but I refused to go alone. So I talked about this like in previous episodes way back, but Carson had a friend and he would like come with me to the gym and actually like walk me through my entire workout and stay there with me. And that's probably like the only way that I would walk in there, but I started there because I was like, that's the gym that I feel like a lot of people start out at. Like it was super cheap. So I did end up going there. And then as I got more comfortable, that's when I transitioned to a different gym and where I really started my fitness journey. But I will say I think the biggest thing like Kate was talking about, and I have a lot of clients who say this, is that they feel like everyone's watching them. And I get that feeling and I still have that feeling sometimes till this day, but I tell all my clients like no one's watching you and everyone is in there to better themselves and focus on themselves and become their best version of themselves. And like yeah, people might look around and whatnot, but no one's like staring at you, looking at you, and like gonna criticize you on what you're doing.
No, it's so true. And I started out at Planet Fitness too. And I was so scared of people seeing me in the gym or watching me, like Caroline said. And like that used to be like crippling for me. I mean, gosh, I remember being like too young to go. And it was like I was right at the cutoff. I don't know what the cutoff was. Maybe it's like 14. I mean,
14.
around that age. Okay, yeah, somewhere around there. And I remember going to that gym and just being so scared. I was like, what if somebody from school sees me? Like, what if somebody I know sees me? I'd hide in the locker room. And I only went with my dad because I was like a guest on like his account. Like, I didn't even have a gym membership yet. And I would just like go to the corners where people wouldn't see me. And then I would like go back to the locker room because I got scared. And it is so funny because now it's like, I know that nobody's watching me. You cannot embarrass me in the gym. Like, there are so many times that I have done just stupid stuff in the gym and I'm like, I should be embarrassed and I'm not. Like, it's so funny to go from now being 22 to when I was like 14 to 16 being terrified of like people in the gym watching me, like criticizing me. But how did you guys get over that? Like, when do you feel like that turned off?
Well, something I want to talk about first, because I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but I feel like there's other people that it wasn't even like working out in the gym. It was like the initial just like walking through the door and like having to go to the counter and have to be like, hey, can I have like a gym membership or guest pass? And honestly, like when I moved to Athens and started going to my gym now, I was scared to death to even walk in there, even though I'd been working out for 3 years. I'd been through my first prep because I joined the gym I'm at now. It's like a big bodybuilding gym. Like, I was intimidated by the people that went there, and I was just so scared to even sign up. But I thought maybe we could like talk about what to expect when you sign up at a gym, because I think a lot of women and girls are honestly just fearful of that. And then we can maybe like go into like how to like structure, like how to get over that. But I think it's important to know, like when you walk in, there's going to be someone there most commonly. You're going to have to ask for like a membership. They might ask you your goals and you can kind of talk to them about it. And I almost looked at it as like I was scared to say the wrong thing or be judged, but that person working there is not going to judge you. I mean, they want you to come in there. People are very inviting in the gym. I think a lot of people think that people that work at gyms or like your trainers at gyms are very stuck up, and that's not true, and that's not the case. They want you to join. They want to see you get better. So expect that. Expect them to kind of like show you around the gym and tour the gym. I remember touring my gym now, and I was just like, oh my God, like everyone's looking at me. And like we have people that come in and tour all the time, and I'm like, honestly, I see them, but I don't look at them again, and I don't think anything about it. So I think that's important for people to like know. And don't be scared to ask, like, hey, do you have this machine? Or like even where's your bathroom? I remember like starting at my gym and I never asked that, and I was just like so scared. And I didn't pee there for like the first like couple of weeks. I was like, I don't know where the bathroom is.
That's so important too, because it's like, I don't know, don't be afraid to go up to people and ask. Like, if you're like, oh, like, where's the hip thrust machine?
Yeah.
Go up to the front desk person, ask. Go up to the biggest person in the gym and ask. Like, everybody should be so friendly in a gym. And the more that you can talk to these people and connect with these people, these are going to end up being some of your friends. And like, seriously, everybody in there is there to better themselves, and they're not going to be annoyed from like you asking a question. That's how you get to know people. That's how you get to know the gym. It really is supposed to be a community.
The guy that works at my gym, he's like the trainer, but he also like works the front desk. His name is Briggs, and he's like my absolute like gym bestie. Like we talk every day now when I see him at the gym, and like we cheer each other on. And that just goes to show you like my fears were just irrelevant and shouldn't have been there. But I mean, it's real, and that's common. I feel like I'm an extra shy person and really introverted, so I'm sure someone out there can relate to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think like it was really the gym that made me like break out of that a little bit. Like I was always so shy, and now I'm like the opposite of that. But I think it's so funny too. Like the people that you meet in the gym could be the most intimidating people. Like my coach, Adam, he's freaking huge and he's just such a little teddy bear. And now he's like one of my favorite people. And it's like the most intimidating looking people in the gym sometimes are going to be your best friends.
Yeah.
So now I guess we could kind of go into like the question you asked Solani, how to like get started with like out overthinking things and kind of how to build that routine. Caroline, do you have any?
Yeah, I would say definitely going in with a plan. Like, I feel like even nowadays, we all go into the gym with a plan. Like, we don't walk in there and sit down and we're like, oh, what are we going to do today? What are we going to hit today? What's our workout going to look like? I think really going in with a structured plan of what you're going to hit will really just set you up to be able to walk in with confidence and kind of know how you're going to execute your workout. I will also say, like, when you do first walk into the gym, always, and I do this at gyms I go to nowadays when I travel, is I will always walk through and kind of like get a scenery of the layout so that I honestly don't look like a dumbass walking through being like, oh, where's that machine? Oh, where's that machine? Where's that? So I think that really helps, but really going into with a plan and really planning, you know, what workout you're going to do.
I would totally second that. I think that took me a little bit of time to actually start doing. Like, I never planned my workouts for probably the first few years. I would just go in, and then it can be really intimidating because it's like you start overthinking, what machine do I do? Oh, shoot, this one's taken. What do I do? And then you start to like overwhelm yourself. And I think going in with a plan, one, you're going to get a much better workout. And two, you're not going to be as intimidated or overthink. You could even have a rough plan. Like Caroline said, I do the same thing. I like to get an idea of where the machines are. Like even me, last night, I went to a brand new gym. So we kind of just scoped the area, because you don't have to know exactly what machines they have. You can be like, okay, my plan for today is I'm going to start out with hip abduction, and then I'm going to go into a hip thrust, and then I'm going to do an RDL. So then once you get there, if you're like, oh shoot, they don't have the hip thrust machine, then okay, what can I do? I can do a setup with a barbell. Okay, I'm going to do an RDL. They have a Smith machine, so I'm going to do them on the Smith machine. So maybe they don't have a Smith machine, so you're going to switch it up and do it with your dumbbells. But I think having some sort of structure always helps. You're like, okay, I'm going to get in there. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have a great workout.
Yeah. I think if you kind of walk in blindly and you don't even know, like, oh, I'm going to hit legs today, or, oh, I might hit shoulders. I think, like Caroline and Lonnie said, go in with a plan. Just focus on one thing at a time. Focus on one exercise at a time. Don't be like doing your hip thrust and be like, oh, wait, where am I going to squat, or where am I going to do RDLs? Focus on one exercise at a time. And like Alani said, if that next exercise is taken, just move on, and you can always come back. And slowly you'll kind of find out where things are in the gym and like do different variations. But don't even think like you have to start with some like complicated plan or anything. Like just stick to maybe some machines and dumbbells to start, and then hop on and do your cardio or steps, whatever you have to do. And sometimes I will map out gyms, like Caroline said, when we went to Gold's Gym in South Carolina, we walked 3 times, I think. And I know people were looking at us and they were probably like, what are they doing?
Yeah, we were trying to find that hip thrust machine.
Yeah. We walked around that place for like the first 15 minutes we were there, back and forth. And people were like, and even like I think we started with abductions, and then we went to hip thrust, and then we were walking around looking for the belt squat. Remember that?
Yes. In that other room.
Yes. I think we walked around like 10 times at that point. But like no one cares. No one came up to us. No one said anything. People were probably like, what are they doing? But like
people might have not even noticed. I don't know if I am so unobservant when I'm in the gym. I'm so like focused on what I'm doing. I probably wouldn't have thought twice. Honestly. Yeah. That's what brought me peace, is I'm like, everybody's so like, for lack of better words, so locked in on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
Sometimes I'll be honest, after I finish a set, I'm kind of like dizzy. And I'm not looking at you, but I'm not thinking, there is nothing in my brain.
Do you guys do that at all, where you like zone out in between sets and then you realize that you're staring at somebody and then you're like,
all the time.
Shoot. And then I just kind of like move my gaze so that they realize that I'm like not staring at them.
Yeah.
It's like when you finish a set and someone is like standing there to like, someone at this past Sunday, I did a set of like kickback. So nothing crazy, but I finished my set and I was like, ugh. And this man is like standing there, and he like asked me a question about like what I was doing and why I was doing it the way I was doing it. And I was just like trying to explain to him, and I was like, but I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not here right now. Also,
no, the worst is, guys, you have to admit this is the worst. Someone's on the lat pull down, and you're on the cable row, and it's like you're literally like this, just. And I'm like, I promise I'm not looking
You're both
at you.
thinking the same thing. Like my eyes are like up here, their eyes are like down, like anywhere to like.
I would not look.
I'm like just closing my eyes.
Yeah. But bouncing off of what you said, Kate, I do just want to say, like, when you first step in the gym, you don't need to think that you need to go to all these crazy machines that you don't know how to work. Like, go in, stick to some body weight, stick to some dumbbells, do some cardio, like, go in a, like, different room if you need to go in a room. I know that, like, Gold's Gym usually has, like, a ladies' room, so if you don't feel comfortable in, like, the free weight section, then go in there. Like, you don't have to go in and feel like you need to do some extravagant workout when you first start, so.
Absolutely. And I think going back to kind of getting started, because something that I heard when I was getting started, kind of still having that intimidation, is the hardest part is just get there. Just get to the gym. Once you get there, you're gonna get a good workout in. You're not gonna feel as anxious. And I think just some like little tips that helps you to get there, even if it's like, it sounds super girly, it sounds super cliche, but like do what works. Set out maybe even the night before a cute workout set that you're excited to wear, that you feel confident in, that you feel comfortable in, even if it's a baggy t-shirt over, because that's what you feel comfortable in. Make a new gym playlist, put it on when you go to the gym, like get excited for it and just get there and then figure out the rest. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the biggest tip.
I was not walking into the gym in a sports bra and shorts when I first
No.
started. I was in like a t-shirt and some leggings.
Yeah. And I think a lot of like the anxiety around people getting to the gym is because they just don't know what to do when they get into the gym. And honestly, I used to be like, oh, you can watch these people, like they're good. But sometimes I think like just watching people on social media and trying to copy what they do brings you more anxiety, because I used to like try to copy like someone's form or setup for something, and it didn't work for my body. I'm super tall, or not super tall, but I'm pretty tall. And I would try to like copy people like word for word, like how they did things. And there's like definitely basics, but like you don't have to copy them exactly. And this is something I talked with my coach about recently, or maybe like 2 months ago. But he was like, just listen to me. Don't like get everything from what you see from these people, because like you're gonna hear all these things, but they're honestly just taking things from other people and literally copying it. And it's not always true. There's a lot of like stuff going on right now on the internet about like proper glute training, and people are like talking about things that I don't totally agree with, and I don't think there should be like one right way to do things. So don't think you have to like go into the gym and do like things exactly how other people are doing it. Write a plan that fits best for you and like your goals and your lifestyle, and play around with like different machines and set up and form, because like I said, like the way that I say works for me is probably not going to work for you, and that's okay. You can get ideas, but don't think because I'm doing something one way or someone else says that you have to copy the exact same thing. And I think that's important to know.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I think that's one thing that having a coach really does help with, is it's like, okay, let's set the game plan. This is what you're going to be doing. Cut out that excess noise, because on social media, people are always like posting a bunch of different workout routines and different things. And it can be really easy, especially as a beginner, to start to stray and do all these different things. But we've talked about this in the past when we talk about progressive overload and all these types of things, but set up a plan for yourself, right? Write out your workouts, stick to them and progress in them. And like Kate said, figure out what works for you, but then stick to those and give them a chance so you can actually grow in those movements, get stronger in those movements, instead of just following all the different TikTok trends. But with that being said, I think that would be a really good thing for us to talk about, is like how we do structure our workouts and just some tips there, because I know that it can be really overwhelming of like, okay, well, how do I put my workout routine together?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that going over just for beginners, because I know like nowadays, I'm on a 4-day split, Kate's on a 5-day split. Alani, how many days do you lift?
5.
Okay, so you're on a 5-day split too. But being a beginner, you don't need to be pushing 4 or 5 days at first. So I think really explaining kind of a 3-day perfect split. And I think Kate, you would do a great job of kind of explaining the inside and science of this. But I think a great split for a beginner would be push pull legs. So maybe you can dive deeper into that.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 clients right now that they just work out 3 days a week, and they're seeing great progress. And the reason they work out 3 days a week is because one of my clients, he's a nurse. Also, he works 4 shifts a week. I don't want him working out after like most of his 12-hour shifts, because recovery is everything. So right now what we have him doing is push pull legs. Actually, he's coming off a leg injury, but we're still getting back into pushing our legs pretty hard. But what I have him doing is push pull legs, and we have lots of intensifiers in there just for more volume. But each one of those days we're doing about 7 to 8 exercises, I think, is what I have him doing. And not all of them have like intensifiers like rest pause sets or drop sets, but most of our sets are 1 to 2 working sets that are kind of like lower volume, heavyweight, and then I throw in a third set that's kind of like a back off set just for more volume. So I have him going for like more reps there, because what matters most for hypertrophy and growth is your intensity, but you also need adequate volume and adequate frequency. We're kind of lacking that frequency, working out only 3 times a week, but with the more added volume, you're kind of getting that stimulus that you would have if you had like the extra day of like hitting a shoulder workout. So we do that, and we utilize the intensifiers, like I was saying, rest pause sets, drop sets, just so he can get like more intensity and more volume in there, and just really like hit it hard and be gassed. And if you're training hard enough, you don't need to just like do like 2 or 3 more exercises of shoulders throughout the week. All you need is like that intensity. So the push pull legs method is good for 3 times a week, because you don't want to like hit his push day on, let's say he works out on Wednesdays, he hits shoulders, and then I think sometimes he works out on Thursdays and hit like a chest workout. So we do push pull legs, that way you can have adequate amount of time for each muscle group, and then adequate amount of time for recovery. But separating it into those different days allows like that push day just to be solely push. We throw in a little bit of arms. That pull day is solely back, nothing else, like no other accessory movements. And then that leg day is pretty heavy and hard, and it kind of kills him. But he has 2 days to recover after that. So I do like push pull days. My other client, he likes a full body workout approach, which I'm also for. Like if you're only working out 3 times a week. So on those full body days, I kind of have her hitting we do our leg movement first. We do a push movement, a back movement. We do some ab work. She's just kind of looking to be healthy. It's not like a bodybuilding. But we work out, rest, workout, rest, workout, rest, and then we have cardio sprinkled in. So yeah, 3 days a week definitely can work. I think it really just depends on your goals and your lifestyle. But one of y'all can maybe talk about like a 4 to 5 day beginner split if y'all want to.
Absolutely. And I agree with what you're saying, Kate, where it's like, it just depends on something that's going to fit your lifestyle, is what I always say. So for a lot of my newer clients that come to me, again, I work with a lot of like lifestyle people. So again, not bodybuilders, like you were saying, Kate, just people that are wanting to feel better, look better, all that type of stuff. And a lot of times they'll come to me and be like, oh, like, I can try and make it, 5 times, 6 times a week. And I sit down with them and I have the conversation with them of like, hey, I want you to be doing something that is going to be consistent. So I ask them, again, this is all online, of course, but like I ask them in their onboarding questionnaire, what is realistic for you to be able to weight train? And if they say 3 to 4 times, or maybe somebody says 4 to 5 times a week, and I'm like, okay, I want to get started with 4 times. Is that something that we can be consistent with? Because overall, I want you to be able to stick to that so that we can create a workout split where it's going to be helpful for recovery, where we're training hard, but we have that recovery. So if I am mapping out a 4-day split for somebody, I do like to do 2 leg days. A lot of times my girls will be like, can I do 3 leg days? And I'm like, no, I want you to be recovering so that one, we can train hard on those 2 leg days. Because if we're going into the gym, 4 times a week and 3 of them are leg days, we're not going to be able to push to the intensity that we need to be pushing to actually grow your legs, right? So I like to program 2 hard leg days. That way they can really kill it. And then I usually do 1 shoulder and tricep and then a full upper body day, just so that we can get shoulders twice in the week and then also get back and biceps, just so we can kind of build like the upper body as far as the lower body as well. So that's usually what I do for a 4-day split. But biggest thing is I always say, stick to something that you can be consistent with. Don't try and push yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to train 5 times a week. And then you start missing all of your workouts and it's hard to get into a routine. So even if it's 3 times a week that you need to start out with, I think that's better than going off of your routine.
I think a lot of people too, like when they start, they don't realize like you've never done anything like this and your body is not used to this. So there's no reason to do 3 times a week if you're training hard enough. Like, yeah, if you're maybe going in there like lollygagging, you can handle it. But if you're starting out, like you're going to be sore and your body, like it does not need 3 to like make a stimulus. 2 is perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I forgot, but it was pretty good, but I can't remember what it was.
Something that we do for our clients too, which I think is cool, is like we have 3-day level 1, 3-day level 2, and then like 3-day level 3, and then bounce them to 4 days. So that like they can really focus on progressing and kind of making like the 3 days harder without feeling like overwhelmed having to add 4. So I think that that's like really cool too.
What I was going to say is a lot of people, when they start, they're so just motivated and fired up. And they're like, oh, yeah, I can do 6 days. I can show up every day. Like, I don't need to rest days. Like, those don't matter. And I think that's like the fired up, motivated mindset is great to have, but you have to realize you need those rest days, especially if you're training hard enough. If you just like show up to the gym every single day when you start, you're eventually going to get burnt out mentally, physically, emotionally. I've been there, trust me. So yeah, realize you have to have your rest days and kind of take the advice, like if you're training hard enough, think about those rest days as a time to rest and also to put back in other areas of your life. When you start in the gym, it's very easy to just kind of like self-isolate sometimes and be like, no, I have to go to the gym, but never lose like that sight and the side of like living your life outside of the gym.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it all comes down to, staying consistent and really just making sure that you show up day in and day out, but you don't need to be perfect to see progress at first.
Yeah. And
That's
also
exactly where I was going to go as well. As like, this is something that my clients are going to laugh that are watching this, because I feel like I say this every single week in their check-ins, is like progress over perfection. Seriously, I know that you probably hear that all the time, but it's so true. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. Just focus on taking one step forward and making this a part of your routine, right? It's not going to be perfect. Everything is hard before it gets easy, but that's why we practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, and recognize that some days it's not going to be easy. Some days you might have to get up extra early than you would like to get your workout in, or spend an hour and a half or 2 hours of your afternoon at the gym. I think when I started, I expected it just to fall in perfectly with my lifestyle and routine. I was in nursing school at the time. So if anyone's in nursing school, you guys know that is like nursing school is your life while you're in it. But I would make the time to get up extra early. And I think sometimes you just have to accept it's not always going to be easy, and fit your team perfectly and just face the fact like you're going to have to be uncomfortable to make sure you're like doing everything you need to do to hit your goals.
Absolutely. And one more thing I would like leave you guys with as well, which is maybe a little bit more of a mindset thing too. And I tell this to my girls that are, getting started in the gym. Maybe they're advanced in the gym. Even if there's bodybuilders out here listening to this, I think this is super important. Truly, the only person worth comparing yourself to is your previous self. And I think especially when, as women and being beginners in the gym, it's really easy to compare yourself to somebody that's been in the gym for 3 years, that's been in the gym for 10 years, that's been in the gym for a year, right? But really, it doesn't matter. Everybody's on their own journey. What really matters is the progress that you've made. So when you start trying to compare yourself to other people, I would challenge you to compare yourself to photos of you months ago, of you years ago, and even just the little mindset shifts that you've made. Like, I think that's the most important thing to think about.
Yeah, the progress always isn't on the outside, like you said. Sometimes it's like how you are looking at different things, how you feel. That's insane. Like the energy levels they just improve when you start working out and moving your body. So yeah, look back at progress pictures, but also maybe like start journaling and just write down like how you're looking at yourself, how you're dealing with situations, how you're dealing with things that come up with your life. Because I think the gym and like getting into working out builds a lot of resilience and mental toughness that people lack when they aren't like fitness people.
I agree. It bleeds over into like every aspect of your life. So just enjoy the journey.
Yeah, but I think this was a really good episode. If you guys that are listening, like, need help, like, building out a routine or, like, a structure, we're all coaches, but also my DMs are always open. I would love just to talk to you and, like, kind of help you build something, or just, like, some tips or, like, a pep talk before you're, like, working out.
Love it.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. I love it.
But we'll be back next week. We'll be posting on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music every Monday at 5 a.m. So we will catch you guys for next week. I hope you like this episode.
Bye.
Bye, guys.